Last year you learned in sixth grade that using a number line can really help you solve integer problems. And so this year in seventh grade, we're going to take it one more step by including rational numbers that are both positive and negative, but the steps to add are still going to be the same. And the cool thing about rational number operations is that I have a few visual tools I can use as the draw portion of read, draw, write, one of which we just hinted at. Okay, so first, let's read the problem one more time. It tells us to represent the sum of 3.5 plus 5.5 using arrows on the number line. Okay, great. Since they want us to represent the problem on the number line, this will be the draw portion of our read, draw, write. So let's represent 3.5 on the number line. Which direction am I going to draw on the number line? Well, since it's the positive number, we're going to go in the positive direction, which I see is on the right-hand side, and the negative side is on the left of 0. Okay, so since I'm going in the positive direction, I'm going to show my jumps as I am going. So I see that it's 3.5, so I will always start at 0 and jump 1, 2, 3, but it's not just 3 whole, it's 3 and half. So it's about halfway between 3 and 4. And so now I have landed on 3.5. Awesome. Let's show 5.5. So if I'm adding this to 3.5, then I am counting in the positive direction this many more times. So let's go 5.5 more. So 1 whole jump, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then half of 1 whole. And so we land on 9. Okay, so what is the total of 3.5 and 5.5? As we can see on our number line, it is 9. And I know that you already know how to add this, right? You have been adding for a very long time and don't need to show a number line every time we add, but this tool is going to be crucial because it is showing us what is really going on when we add numbers together. So in this case, when we added 3.5 plus 5.5, we got an even larger positive number, and that was 9. Okay? Do you think that adding two positive numbers will always give you a greater positive number? Yes, because adding two positive numbers together gets us an even greater positive number, which we saw on the number line because as we added these two together, we moved further away from 0 in the positive direction. Okay, we're going to look at another example. So it says to represent the sum of 2.25 plus negative 4 using arrows on the number line. Okay, so I'm going to remember that this is the positive direction and this is the negative direction. Okay, so it wants us to represent these two negative numbers on the number line. So we're going to follow the same process. So if I have negative 2.25, where am I going to start? That's right, at 0. Except this time I am going to move 2 jumps to the left and then 0.25, so like just a little bit of a jump to represent that 0.25. And now that we have the negative 2.25 on our number line, we need to add negative 4. Well, what direction are we moving since this number is also a negative? We are going to continue to move in the negative direction 4 more spaces. So let's pick a different color. And 4 whole spaces, so 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So looking at where we landed, right, I know that even though like the decimals aren't exactly shown on the number line, if I used my math logic and I added 4 wholes to 2.25, I would get a little past negative 6. And sure enough, it is negative 6.25 as shown on our number line. Let me highlight that a little bit more. Okay, so comparing this to the one we just did, what did we end up with? Well, we ended up with an even more negative answer. And we know negative numbers are really small numbers because they are opposite of these positive numbers over here on the right. Do you think that adding two negative numbers will always give you a smaller negative number? Yes, because just like adding two positive numbers gives us an even greater positive answer, adding two negative numbers gives us an even smaller negative answer because we are moving in the opposite direction of zero, which gives us smaller numbers. So let me write that down. So we have smaller numbers going this way and bigger numbers going the positive direction. Okay, so what do both examples have in common? Well, the arrows are both going the direction of the signs of the numbers. And because they both have the same sign, they continue moving in that same direction, leading to their final answers, either a positive or a negative answer. So I want to stamp this rule as you write this down. When adding rational numbers with the same sign, we add the numbers together and use the common sign for our answer. Okay, you may have seen this in sixth grade with a tic-tac-toe chart, right? And so we know with tic-tac-toe, we want three X's in a row. And now I'm accidentally going to do that. Okay, and so we have this as a mental, like, kind of refresher from what we learned in sixth grade. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about it, especially when we look at the next topic. But I want to draw your attention that when we have two negative numbers, we are going to add them together. So we have two negative numbers, we are going to add. So we're going to try a few practice problems here in a second.